Hey Brian, Dylan Thompson, Chase Motorsports. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the purchase. This 2018 Haulmark MotorGarage, I think you're going to be more than impressed. Your buddy sent in to get it. I think he loves it. So let's check out the inside and we'll show you a little bit about it. Then we're going to go around and we'll do the compartments too. But so I will text you the code to the door and you can reprogram it. I'll also send you a link with some instructions, but this is keyless entry. You got to set it up as, I believe, a 4-digit pin, and you hit the little key there and it'll slide the deadbolt in, so you can lock it or unlock it right here without having to have the key. So super handy there. It does have the screen door, which that little lever, you can do the screen. I showed him there's a button inside here, so if you don't want the steps to come in and out every time you open the door, which is kind of annoying because they do take a second, you can go in here and flip this switch that says step. Now that only works if the coach isn't running. If the coach fires up, it's going to pull the steps in because in theory it doesn't want you to take off with the steps down. So we'll go up in here. This is the battery disconnect switch, and I was explaining to him you would use this if you were going to park the coach for a week, 2 weeks, a month, or whatever, and you didn't have the coach plugged into shore power. Now, if the coach is plugged into shore power, you ain't got to worry about anything because the onboard charging system's keeping everything charged up. But if you were like going to put this coach in a shop or a shed or something, you're like, hey, I don't want anything to be dead in a month, and I don't have shore power here to plug it into, hit the store button, and that's a dead man switch for everything 12 volt. So when you come back in a month or a week or whatever and you hit use, everything comes on again. This little screen up here, I'll have him kind of zoom in. So we're going to hit the home button. We're going to go back home, okay? You've got awnings, so you click awnings, and that's real simple. It's awning, retract, and extend. Now, the awning will only work if the generator's running or the unit's plugged into shore power. The awning runs on 120 volts, so if you don't have the generator running and you're not on shore power, the awning will not come out. You will hear it click because it has a 12 volt solenoid that's activating the 120 volt motor. But again, to run the awning, you have to have the generator running or the shore power cord plugged in. We'll go back home. Generator, real easy to start. So you'll see it says on off. You got to hold the on button down. So when you hold him down, you continue to keep your finger on the screen on the on button, and you'll hear it start. Once it starts, release your finger and it'll stay running. Lighting. So lighting's real cool how this works. You got a master on and off. Like right now, all the lights in the whole coach are on. If I hit off, it turns every one of them off. And then, like, let's say you wanted the porch light on. You can hit him. It just came on. You can do them all individually, or you can hit the master on, and every light on the whole coach, outside, inside, garage, everything comes on. So we'll go back. That was the lighting. Monitor panel. So you've got battery voltage. You got black tank, fresh tank, gray tank. Gray is going to be sink and shower water. Black is sewage. Fresh is fresh water. Propane. And when these are lit up, see how the fresh or the water pump little teardrop is lit up, the propane tank's on, and the gas water heater's on, meaning all that's functioning. Like if you want to turn the water pump off, boom, see? Okay, so the LP tank, it's got an electronic on and off switch. Basically, it's a safety if something caught on fire. If you were right here, you could hit that, and it electronically turns a valve and shuts the propane down. So we'll go actually, we'll have him spin around. This is for the hot water. So not only did that first panel, the little gas water heater button need to be on, but this needs to be up. And if you do not see a little orange light there, you will not have hot water. So you spin him up. I wouldn't mess with it. I would leave it right there, but you can go off, which is down in the middle. Turn him up and press. When you see that light up, the little light come on is when you will have hot water. And it'll only work when it feels flow. So you have to turn the water valve on your faucet, whether it's the shower, the sink in the bathroom, or the kitchen. When it senses flow, it'll ignite, and you'll see heat coming out, or feel heat rather, coming out of the little grill on the hot water heater outside the coach. So we'll go up here above the door, and a couple things up here. So number one is the inverter panel, and what this does, inverter means it takes 12 volt battery voltage and turns it into 120 volts. So what that would do is if you were running down the road and you were like, hey, we don't need the ACs running, but we want to watch TV. Well, TV is 120 volt. You can turn the inverter on and it'll take your 12 volt battery bank, run it through this little machine, and spits out 120, which will run your TVs. You could run your DVD player, you could charge cell phones with a wall outlet, etc. So now, right now I'm plugged into shore power and it says absorb charging, and what that means is it's taking 220 50 amp voltage from my shore power cord and it's charging the batteries. So same way if the generator was running, it would say absorb charging. So it's again taking generator power and running it through the machine, and it's kind of reversing the cycle. If you're inverting, you're turning 12 volt into 120. If you're converting, you're turning 120 into 12, which is pretty much a charge. Emergency gen start. So what this does is, let's say you forgot to use the store button and you get out here and the generator almost started, but it's not enough to start it. You can press this switch, and what it does, it links the chassis batteries that start the engine of the coach to the house batteries. There's a solenoid that links them together, and when that does that, it makes it to where the generator would start up at that point, and that would allow the generator to run through your converter, and it's going to take the generator power, spit out 12 volts out of the converter, and now your stuff's being charged back up. So that's an emergency start. It literally connects the chassis batteries with the house batteries, which is 2 different sets of batteries. Tank heat, so you got 3 different tanks. On this coach, you're gonna probably have 2 gray tanks and 1 black tank, but that's heat strips. So if you were in a cold climate where there's freezing temps, of course on the inside of the coach, you can just turn the furnace on 40 degrees or 50 degrees and let it run when it needs to. But if you were like driving through some 10-degree weather, you got heat inside the cab and inside the house area, but underneath you got a lot of cold air. So the tank strips literally heats up the gray tank and the black tank. Now the fresh tank is under the bed, so if you got the furnace on in here, you're good on that. This is the awning control. So you hit the green button, power him up, you hit extend, stop, or retract. Extend makes the awning go out. Stop meaning, let's say you wanted the awning to go out 3 foot, not all the way, but you wanted to go out 3 or 4 foot. You can run it out, hit extend, it's going to start going, hit stop where you want it to stop, and then retract brings it in. This is a wind sensor. I normally run mine on the 2nd notch, and that's if that's low sensitivity to high sensitivity, and meaning you don't really want it to where if someone blew their nose on the awning that it comes in, but you don't want it also with if you were at your boat race or whatever and a storm came in and you guys are 2 blocks from this thing and you come back and the awning looks like a paper clip, laying on top of the coach. So you can set the sensitivity. I normally run mine on the 2nd. Some people do the 3rd. It's just your choice there. So that covers that. Up here, something I was telling him was you can scan this little code thing with your phone and it'll download an app, and then you punch in the password and you can actually download an app on your phone that runs the whole coach. So what we saw earlier on this panel, the monitor panel, the lighting, the slides, all that you can run through your phone. So literally you can come in here, you can be laying in bed and say, I want to turn the lights on outside, and get on your phone and do that. So that covers that. Moving on, you're pretty self-explanatory here. Those got your sink up here. Okay, so all of the original manuals. That's something that's super cool to see in a coach. Not that you'll ever look back through them, but it's just nice to go with them. And the original chassis manuals from Volvo are here. And we've even got some touch-up paint with paint coats. So if you ever scuff something, you can use these. They got a little brush in them, or you can get the paint coat, which is the exact coat that a guy could blend you up some touch-up. So all that's in there. These are DirecTV boxes. One goes to the outside of the coach, one outside, one goes to the TV here in the main living area. What you'll need to do is call DirecTV and say, hey, I just bought this motorhome. I want to get these in my name. If they tell you they're locked, I can have the previous owner call. Before the coach leaves, I will get the serial numbers off of them so that I can have him call and release them out of his name, and then you can pick them up in your name. And you only want to do that if you want to have DirecTV service. Now, a lot of people stream stuff from their phones, Netflix, whatever, to the TV, but if you want DirecTV, you can get a seasonal package to where you don't have to pay for it all year long. You can get it when you want it, and that's what these control. Track vision. So what this does, this has to be on for these to work. This is an in-motion satellite system, which means you can turn more than 9 degrees a second, I think they actually said. And what that does is you can be going down the road. Think about a DirecTV system on your house. You set the dish and it locks in. This has a system on it where you can turn left, right, and there's a satellite spinning inside this little dome connected to this box. So this has to be powered on before this stuff over here works. This is a DVD player down here. This is a convection microwave, so you can bake. You can put something metal in it. I know most people say don't throw a metal spoon in the microwave. This one you can, because you can heat it with convection, or you can pull the metal stuff out and do your normal microwave. Storage up here. Down here you've got a 2-burner cooktop, so you can turn him on and heat him up and cook stuff there. This here is your fridge, obviously, and this is kind of dorky looking, but this is how they keep the doors from flying open going down the road. So you have this guy, he slides into here and locks it in. Again, it's not the coolest looking thing, but it does keep it from flying open going down the road. You do have a ladder up in here. There's a light switch for this one right up here. There's a cushion in here that when you convert the dinette into a bed, there's a cushion that goes in the middle and makes it a full bed. This one here, if you pull these up, take the 2 cushions, pull by hand, the bed will fold out and makes a hide-a-bed. There is 2 more light switches that aren't controlled from that panel, and they're right here. And that turns the lighting over the sofa or bed and over the dinette. Through here, you've just got a lot of storage. This is heated floors, and if you turn these on, again, to run the heated floors, you either have to have generator or shore power, but the heated floors, if you turn those guys on like 85 degrees, it'll heat the whole ambient temperature up. There's a control here, and I think there's another control in the bedroom for the back half of the coach. So you can turn him on. You can do a memory setting to where if you were using this thing for like a month straight, it comes on a certain time of the morning. When you wake up, your feet are cozy warm on the floor. This has 3 different zones. Zone 1, you can go, I'll just show you here. So zone 1, you can go to off, cool, fan. Here we go. We were on 3. Let's go to zone 1. Here we go. So you go cool, auto, furnace. So furnace is a gas furnace that's going to take propane and make heat, and then you set your temp up and down. Okay, so if you didn't want furnace, you could go to fan, which is just going to circulate air, off, or cool. So zone 2, 3, 4 is no zone. So there's 3 roof airs, but this thermostat is made to where it will control up to 4 roof airs, but there's only 3, so you'll get an E1 code on 4 is because there's nothing there. So we'll go back to zone 1. We've got it on cool. You can read about this Dometic thermostat. Again, you can program it to where it comes on certain times, or you can just leave it manual where you turn it on when you want it. This is for the max air vent. So this guy's right above us, and basically you turn him on, vent up, vent down, and that's going to take and pull air in or shove air out. If you were, at an event and you were like, hey, it's not really hot enough in here for the roof air to be on, but we want a little bit of air circulating, or if you didn't have the generator on and you wanted some air pulling down, this is 12 volts, so you can run this without the generator on and everything's good. So we'll pause there for a second. We'll finish up by going through the back half into the garage and then the outside. All right, so we're in the bathroom now. We'll have him swing around here. So there is a couple lights in here. Boom, vanity and tow light, which is going to be a floor light. This is another max air fan, which is going to control the fan above the shower. You definitely want to turn him on when you're taking a shower, because it'll pull all the steam and just keeps it from getting all over the wallpaper. But he'll raise up, and you can set the fan to where it pulls air down into the coach. Of course, in the bathroom, set it to where it pulls air out. Pretty self-explanatory, just like a house in here. Your toilet is real simple. Make sure your water pump is on. Push the little thing down, and here he comes, and there you go. So up above here is just storage, and we're now into the bedroom. So I'll have him spin around. You've got another control here for the heated floors. Again, set those dudes on 80, 85, and you'll feel the ambient temp just in the air. It's awesome. So this is another little screen similar to the one by the door where you came in. You've got awning, generator, lighting, monitor panel, and slides. So you can control from the bedroom, you can control from the entry door of the coach, or you can click on, or you can take your phone and scan that little code and download the app on your phone. It gives you the password up there on it, and you can literally have everything from right from your phone. So you can see this guy's flashing DirecTV. The service is turned off to the DirecTV, but if you get that activated, you can fire him up and have him working. You do have, oh, here we go. So here's your track vision boxer back here, and then you got another DirecTV. This box controls, obviously the bottom one is on. He goes here. The other one is going to go to the TV in the garage. Then you got a DVD player here. So that's that. Other than that, you got storage. It's all cedar lined. Literally, man, I'm telling you, the Haulmark lineup was a very, very, very high-end build, from the quality of the flooring to the cedar line drawers, the paint. It's a huge, huge bang for the buck, and we would love to see those guys back up and producing coaches. So hopefully soon on that. Let's look at the shades. So the shades are day and night shades. So that's obviously the night shade. You're blocking everything. But if you pull him down and let him, oops, let's see here. Yeah, this one's been down a minute, so the spring's a little slow. But you get him out of the way, and then you have a what's called a day shade, which is like tinted, lets a little light in. So want that one back down, just pull him and he locks. Here, wow, yeah, more nice storage there. As you can see, drawers with storage, more storage, more storage. There's more lighting on the bed. So there's two switches here, boom. That switch over there on the wall to the right there is for the ceiling fan right above his head. There's a ceiling fan, and you turn him on, and then you pull the little chain to set the speed, but he's controlled by that rocker switch over there on the wall to the right of the bed. How about the headboard? How about that? That's cool. So the switches right here, one does the directional or the light shining down, one does the little accent lights. Again, you've got shades on both windows on that. On into the garage. Okay. So the garage has prep for a washer and dryer, so that's what that's for. You got a hot and cold tap with a drain there, outlets. This little piece is for the floor, so you know if you're not using the door and you want to drive something in over it, that goes there. We will set it there for transport. This is your switch, kind of like the switch up there in the front for the steps. So if you open this door or you're coming in and out of here and you don't want the step going in and out as the doors open, do that. Oh, you got another panel here, so you can also control your slides and your monitor panel and all that from this guy right here. TV, again, you can stream something from your phone. You can get the DirecTV hooked up or whatever. You can plug a PlayStation or Xbox into any of these. So to raise this up, you basically grab the bottom, and let's see here. Actually, it took me a minute the other night to figure this guy out. Let me play with him here for a second. Oh, here we go. Okay. So you pull out, he lays down, and then the whole thing folds up. Let me get him here. Okay, it's a little snug. But yeah, so that allows you to drive your golf cart or put your, we talked about you was maybe putting a couple of Groms in it, but you can fold him up, but when you get to where you're going, you can lay him down and make him into a bed, or you can take and raise up, fold in, fold down, and makes a seat. You do have roof access. This is a walk-on roof, so walk-on roof meaning that not probably the whole family at once on the roof, but one or two guys want to go up and watch a race from here. You can fold this ladder down, pull the pins, fold him down off the wall, and raise the hatch up, and you can go up and get on the roof. So I think that takes care of the inside. The garage door is electric. How cool is that? So the garage door is controlled by an electric motor, and I'll show you where the control is at on the outside of the coach. So we'll continue here in just a second. All right, so now we're gonna go around the outside of the coach, do the lift gate on the back, and then we'll come back down the driver's side. This guy here is gonna be storage. There is some spare little lug nut covers that were in a bag in the coach, and I put them right there. And they go, as you can see on the wheel, it's got some custom lug nut covers. There are spares in the bag. So this guy here is just storage. That's all he is. Always when you press these latches, make sure you kind of push 2 fingers. Make sure that comes flush. If that little centerpiece is punched in, the latch is not locked, okay? This one here is, okay, so 2 things here. This is your inverter. We were talking about earlier in the video that takes the 12 volt and turns it into 120. But also what you have in here is that little carpet step, and that's to go here. If you were going down the road and you had some kids with you or something, and you were like, you didn't want them tripping and falling down the stairs, you can put that right here. And it's a platform. It makes this one solid floor here, so that's what that's for. Other than that, there's really not a lot you'll do in here. This is kind of a maintenance-free system. Unless you were replacing it, you can use this as strictly storage. This one here is the Dometic electric cooler, and I was telling Ron, and he got this great big smile. I don't know if he's planning on putting Gatorade or beer or what he's putting in there, but anyways, there's no ice required. So you swivel him out, and you got, look at that, man, and you can feel of it. I mean, it's cold right now. So, and you set the temp over here. I'll have Ron come around, but you set up and down, so you turn him off, and you can set the temp. It's set on 33, which would be just above freezing, but there's no ice. You can literally take this thing out too, and you know, if you were boating and you wanted it down on the dock or whatever with you, can take it out and take it down there. So you can also put ice in it, but it's made to electronically cool without ice. This one here is nothing but storage, and you can see these have little lights. When you close the door, they go out, but you got a little light there on each one. Again, when you open this door and open the screen, the steps will come down just like so. And then if you want to leave the steps down to where they don't open and close the whole day, you can flip the switch on the inside, and that'll take care of that. In here is a couple different things. So we got our controller for our gate. And this shows how the gate works. It shows where to lube the gate. It says lube it weekly. I'm thinking once every 6 months is probably sufficient, no more than you'll use it. But pay attention to this stuff. It shows how this is wired. If something ever happened and the gate was stuck down, you could figure out how to jump it to get it up. You also have a bag of these. And these are the tie-down pieces that go in that airline tracking in the floor. So when you get ready to tie stuff down, that's what you will need for the floor. And it, so this here, we're gonna plug him in right here. Okay, when we plug in, we got up and down. We're gonna bump the gate up. Actually, it was actually already up, okay? So now we're gonna pull the pin. Okay, so we were bumping up. Okay, so that comes out, and you'll want to do the same thing on the other side. So when you plug the controller in, your first instinct is to bump up to get the gate off the pins. Actually, this gate wasn't even on the pins because it's new, but as these systems wear, they will bleed down a little bit. But we've got the gate off of the pin, so now we're going to go down. We're going to press the button down. Okay, so when you also have to pull that pin. There's only one, and then you pull this cable, okay? So this is spring loaded. So pull this cable, it's another safety. Go down. Okay, and once you pull that pin, actually just pull it and pull back on the gate, and it's spring loaded. So, I mean, don't just let someone stand behind it, obviously, but he will come down. And there you are. So, and then you can flip that over. It actually, I think it's a double fold, so it flips over and then flips over again. How about my polish guy, man? That is a nasty job, but when he puts the shine to it, it looks like chrome. So, then you got up and down, okay? So you drive your golf cart on, up, down, down. Here's the cool part. I told you inside earlier in the video, that's electric. It's got literally a up-down switch in here. I'll let Ron kind of show us. You got open and close, just like a switch in your, for the garage door at your house. How cool is that? This is rock star status stuff, man. I mean, this is cool as it gets. Okay, so up and down there. So we've done our stuff for the day, and we're ready to close the gate. You can up, down, and then again, these springs are helping assist the gate. Okay, so we're gonna go here. You've seen I pulled the little string, which is spring loaded. And then you're going to go up, and what it's doing is running that notch up and getting you above your safety pins down here. Okay, we're there. So now we're just putting this in, and this is nothing but a safety. It does have a little ball on the end of it, so yep, once that's there, then you have a pin on each side. Oh, I see. You got to go from the bottom up. So you go here and press up. There you go. So, and then when you're done, just unplug this little guy and store him right in here. We'll catch that other pin here in a second after the video. This back here is the bigger class receiver. I think it's good for 20,000 pounds towing, 3,000 pounds of tongue. So you can slide your receiver if you're wanting to pull a trailer. This right here is, this is 50 amp out. That is a 50 amp when you're plugged into shore power or your generator's on. That is a 50 amp hot. So if you were pulling a trailer, you could feed 50 amp 220 volts into your trailer through that plug. Down here, you always want this light to be on. If that's on, that means the propane electric valve is on, which is also controlled inside the coach, but leave that switch up. That's an emergency. So again, you're outside the coach, you smell propane, something's on fire, come back here, hit that, and it shuts the valve off. This is a water tap, so with your water pump on, you can turn him on and get water out of him. Your cord is on a reel. You can retract and extend. This will not work if your disconnect in the coach is off. So that button that said use or store, if it's in store mode, it kills the power to this. And you normally want to route this cord out the bottom. That way you don't have to leave the door, you know, half propped open on the bottom. This next one is going to be your generator. We just serviced it, and I recommend servicing them about every 200 hours. The guys say Onan says 400. My vote is 200 hours. So at 200 hours, I would change the oil filter, and the fuel filter. That's the main three things. The air filter, I mean, unless you're using it in a real dusty environment, the air filter is normally pretty clean, but it's just been serviced. This one is the Onan 12,500 kilowatt, and it's got 307 hours on it right now. So I've seen 10,000 hours and still running good. So again, this coach, the whole thing is like new with very little usage, and the generator is just another proof of that. And we will start the generator before Ron leaves with the coach. We will fire him up and let him run a minute. I'm gonna kick a little light on here for us, Ron. There we go. All right, so this one here is going to be your plumbing bay, okay? So you have a couple things here. You have your wastewater, which is going to be your gray and your gray tank, which is your shower and sink water. Then you have your sewage, which is black, okay? This has a macerator pump, which means the sewage will run out this little guy. You turn this pump, you'll hear him come on, you turn the pump on, pull these valves, and he'll literally run out something the size of a garden hose. Now, you can take this cap off, and he'll run out that. You can also put the cap on, and it'll grind it up and run it out of a garden hose if you wanted to. This is a low point drain, so if you want to drain the water on the coach, turn him and you'll see the water starts coming out, and that drains the coach. If you were trying to winterize it and get all the water out of it, this would be your first step. This does have a water station. You can get a quick connect fitting with like a sprayer and hook into here. This right here is your water fill port. So to put water in the coach, you put your garden hose here and you turn it to tank fill, which is a valve just like it is. If you hook your garden hose here and you turn the valve on your faucet and you turn this down, it's going to do city water. And what city water means is if you was at a campground or you was at your shop and let's say someone was living in this thing and they didn't want to run the water pump inside the coach, they wanted to use the pressure from the faucet outside the coach, then you turn that down. But most of the time you're going to be filling your tank, which means put your garden hose here from your faucet at your shop, turn that guy up sideways, and it'll fill the tank up. This right here is a tank flush, and what that means is, let's say you empty the tanks, but you're like, man, this thing's kind of had a stench in it. We ran it and left the sewage in it for a while. You can hook your garden hose to that, turn it on, let it run for 10 or 20 minutes, man, and all it's doing is putting water into the black tank. So that takes care of that one. And this one here is okay. This is just kind of a maintenance bay. Those cables on your valves are running to the T-handles inside, but that's one of your holding tanks. I think this is the same deal. I think this is just kind of a maintenance bay. Yep, okay, so this coach has one black tank and two gray tanks. These are both gray water. And the way you can always tell the difference in a gray and black tank, the gray tank will always have smaller plumbing because toilet paper and stuff's not going through it. So the smaller lines will always be the gray tank, which again is your shower and your sinks. This one here is going to be, I think, some batteries. We'll see. Yep, okay. So let's say you came out and someone left the keys on the truck and the engine's dead. It'll light a dome light up, but it won't start. This is your engine batteries. This is what starts the engine. The blue ones are your house batteries, which is running anything from the back of the cab to the rear of the coach. They are 12-volt batteries, and they're wired to where they're linked positive, positive, positive. It's a real simple setup. These guys are maintenance-free, so you never have to check any acid levels or anything like that. But again, if you came out and you're like, oh man, we left the dome light on in the cab for a week straight or something like that, this is where you would charge / jump the engine. This is for the house side. This one here. This one is basically I would call a maintenance port. You do have, if you ever want to take an air chuck with you and an airline, if your engine on the coach is running, you can quick connect into that and literally have an air gun, because as every semi does, they have onboard tanks for the air brakes and the air ride. You can clip right into that guy and have you a blowgun or have you an air chuck to air up a tire. We'll continue on around. Yeah, fuel fill. Good points right here. So you take these two handles, twist them, they're spring loaded, pull them back, and you've got 125 gallons of diesel and then DEF fluid. DEF, who wants to deal with DEF, but it's part of it. So that's probably about a 20-gallon DEF tank, 125 gallons of diesel right there. When you shut it, again, push with your palms, kind of pull these back, and then push them and lock them like that. How do we get the hood up? I don't really have enough room to raise the hood in the shop, but I'm going to show you where the latch is at. The latch for the hood is right here, okay? So pull him down, and you'll hear the hood kind of pop, and it'll raise right up. That's all I got. Again, thank you for the business. I appreciate you, and if you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout anytime. Hey, wanted to show you the leveling kit. So you do have to have the ignition of the truck on. And this is in the cab to the right of the CB, but ignition needs to be on, and you don't want the slides out. You want the slides in. So you showed up at your event, you found a pretty level place in the parking lot. So key on, you'll press power, it'll light up, and then hit auto level. Now, auto level, unless something malfunctions, should level the coach. You can go over here and go up and down, and you can raise the left side a little bit more, or raise the right, or the front or the rear, but auto level should level the coach. And then when you hit all retract, what that does is that releases all the jacks. So again, all retract raises them up, auto level puts them down and gets you level.